And we're back with episode 12 of Dog Football Weekly. It's your host, Reed, with your co-host,
Russ.
And today, folks, we have a very special guest. Five-star offensive tackle Mason Short joins the show. Mason, how you doing today?
I'm doing well. How you doing?
We're doing all right, man. First off, we just want to congratulate you on your amazing high school career you've had so far. Would you like to tell us a little bit about your recruiting process?
Yeah, man, it's all a blessing. It's been really fun. It's been an early stage. I'm just a sophomore.
Yeah.
But going on these recruiting trips, every weekend, get to spend time with the family and the coaches. Go see the greatest facilities in the country. It's all a blessing. It's a great time.
If you don't mind us asking, where's your favorite been so far?
I got to be really neutral throughout all this thing. Of course, you got Alabama, Ohio State, Georgia. All of those schools, they have the top-notch facilities. College football, man. But Georgia's got the flash factor, and then Bama. They all compete with each other. It's funny when you go on these visits. You got all these coaches telling me, like, if Georgia has got that, we're going to order one better. And it's vice versa,
Yeah.
Well, how's your recruitment process with Georgia been?
It's been really fun. That's a great way to put it. I have a great relationship with Coach Smart and Coach Searles. We actually plan on going on a hunting trip next year. He comes down and visits me at the school about every other week now, but it's a dead period, so
yeah.
Every time I go up to Athens, it's always a good time.
Yeah, I love it up there. Tell us a little bit about your season this past year at Evans.
It's been really good. It was cut short. I didn't get to play the full season, unfortunately, because I had a knee injury and as well as the concussion.
Sorry to hear that.
Oh yeah, it's all good. But it turned out great. I got to play in our last playoff game against Thomas County Central. It's about a 5-hour drive over there in Florida. But it was good just to play one last game with the seniors and all that. We got a lot of guys going forward to college, play D2 and NIA ball. College ball is college ball.
Yeah.
It was great just to grind through them this year. It's been a really fun year, especially since all this recruitment has been skyrocketed this year.
Yeah.
So it's been real fun.
Yeah, well, it's great to hear about all this. I think it's pretty cool that you and Coach Smart are going on a hunting trip. That's something I've never really heard about in the recruiting process, but I'm sure that'll be interesting.
Yeah, Coach. Taking Coach Searles out, I'm not sure what kind of we're doing, but it's Tate Rutledge took out Coach Searles for his official visit. You can do it for an official visit. I can't now.
Yeah.
The reason I say junior year because I'm a sophomore. I'm 16 years old. You got to be a little bit.
Yeah.
You got to be a junior on the month of September when all that official stuff can happen. But that looking forward to that. But the relationship with Coach Searles is really good. It's funny. You go on these trips. You go see him. He'll go right past me and go straight to my mama.
Yeah.
So that's how it should be.
Well, that's how they got to be.
Oh yeah.
Well, first off, are you a Dogs fan? I never even asked you.
Man, growing up, I was just a college football fan. I never really had a favorite growing up. I just really enjoyed
the game.
Growing out on the weekends and going hunting and watching football. So,
well, what's your take on the Dogs these past 2 years? We'd love to hear it.
Oh man, they have built an amazing program. The coaching staff there is unbelievable. Just to go back to back national champion, that's pretty unheard of. That's crazy. And Georgia, they are handling it very well. They're not, they're all humble throughout this whole thing. And it's really cool. I got to go up to the parade, the national championship parade, and that was a really cool thing to experience. But I want to be surprised if they do it again next year. They just have a great recruiting class coming in, and I'm excited to see how they do.
One of my favorite things that Kirby's done, obviously Mark Richt, he was a great coach, but they could never really get over the hump. But the first thing Kirby did when he came in was he started recruiting on the offensive line and defensive line. I think that's the area where Mark Richt struggled. You really didn't have a whole lot of standout linemen over his coaching career. They had great skill players in like
Absolutely.
Stafford, Gurley. He recruited Chubb, he recruited Sonny, Keith Marshall. But what Kirby did, I mean, he had Sam Pittman as his offensive line coach, and then Sam took the Arkansas job, and then he brings in Coach Matt Luke from Ole Miss, and now he's obviously retired, but the thing he's done to me that impresses me the most is it doesn't really matter what he puts out there on the field on the offensive line standpoint. They're all extremely talented, and they keep bringing guys in, and they keep putting guys in the NFL.
Oh, absolutely. They've actually, I got it up right here. I think they've had, let me see, it should be about 2 offensive tackles drafted in the past 5 years, which is really good. But they've, like Amaris Mims, he's 6'8", 320 pounds. He can probably run 18 miles an hour.
Yeah, he's from down here.
Yeah, you got, Tate Rutledge, McClendon, rest his soul, Devin Bullock. He was an amazing player.
Yes.
They just got so much talent, so much depth in that O-line. It's crazy.
And they got guys like Jamari Sawyer. He was drafted, Russ, wasn't he a 6th-round pick last year?
Yeah, I think so.
He was a 6th-round pick. Well, you take a guy drafted in the 6th round, he starts for the Chargers all year. He's the highest-graded rookie offensive tackle this season, and that's a guy drafted in the 6th round. That's not a first-round pick. It's not somebody you just expect to just have that kind of season, but it's a testament, and it shows how great the coaching is at Georgia and how great – I mean, these guys that come into the NFL, they're dominating.
Absolutely. I mean, they lost – I'm so surprised that they had an undefeated season this year because they lost so much talent last year to the NFL. So much talent, especially like defensive talent, which is – it's crazy that they did what they did this year with the amount of guys they had.
Yeah, and you got offensive linemen like Broderick Jones. This year, obviously projected first rounder. That's really big for Georgia on the O line.
Warren McClendon, Broderick. I mean, and even down the stretch, like Broderick got hurt. Unfortunately, he couldn't play towards the end of the year. But Amaris Mims stepped in, and they didn't skip a beat. And that
absolutely.
just shows.
I mean, they're so confident with their backups. They're not going to have a certain play they don't want to do because they have a backup in.
Well, I
got to go see a little bit of practice, and then all them guys get the same amount of reps against the same amount of defenses. The 1s and 2s, they're all getting the same amount of reps. So they're so comfortable. That if one guy goes down, they got a guy just as good or better than him in the second spot.
What I love about this program is really on your front, on offense and defense, there's always guys rotating in and out. So, like, when these younger guys – because you have, like, on the defense especially, you have a lot of freshmen and sophomores playing, like, key snaps during games. They're not getting the majority of reps, but then when it comes time for them to play their sophomore, junior season and start, they've already experienced all those game time reps. They've already seen the best of the best in the conference, so they know what to expect. And I think that's huge for this team. And that's why they've been able to, everybody thought, they're going to take a step back. And they, in my opinion, took a step forward and went undefeated.
I mean, especially, they're so young. I mean, coming in, they got all this 5-star talent on the D-line. It's, they're expecting those guys to start, this next season. And they got the talent to do it. They got so much depth.
And they have – you play in a national title game. This is what really shows me how much depth they have. You have in your third-string offense playing towards the end of the game, and you score 2 touchdowns. Third-string offensive line. Here's some guys who haven't seen a whole lot of snaps, and they're scoring –
in the national championship game.
It's crazy to me.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure it's Michael Williams, right? That's the freshman DN.
Yeah.
To get a sack in the national championship game as a true freshman, he's playing high school ball not too long ago.
Well, he had a sack against Paris Johnson, who's going to be the first tackle off the board, I think. I think he's super talented.
That's a great talent right there, offensive tackle.
He's got great footwork, great size. And he just bull rushed that guy, and that guy's going to be an NFL starter next year. And I think Paris Johnson's going to be an NFL All-Pro, in my opinion. But just to have guys like that Jalen Walker, he's another young guy who really showed out. Marvin Jones Jr., Bear Alexander in the middle.
Oh yeah,
And then they bring in Job. Is it Jaw Garrett or Jarrett?
Jaw, Big Jaw.
Yeah, Big Jaw. You bring in him. I mean, this team, everybody's been. Last year it was they're taking a step back. This year it's they can't go for a three-peat, and I don't see why not. I think the talent's there. I think the coaching's there, but obviously a lot has to go your way to win another title, any title. But I think if they stay healthy, there's nobody in their way.
I mean, yeah. I'm excited to see the coming years of college football. I mean, there's a lot of great recruiting going out. I mean, there's a lot of, especially in the SEC. You know, SEC is notorious for the big nasty linemen. You know, and the running backs who can run 4.3 and weigh 220. You know, that's the SEC football for you. And you'll get players like that coming in every single year. So it's making it really exciting.
Well, it's great. Like, you see now, they used to be like, he runs a 4.4. It's crazy how much the game's evolved. Like, guys that used to run a 4.4, they're like, that dude's insanely fast. Now every receiver you got on your team's running a 4.4. Brock Bowers runs a 4.4.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's a tight end.
Yeah, it's insane.
It's great, though. And I think it's great for the sport. And, you know, now you got linemen. Obviously, you're one of those top-rated guys in that class. And, I mean, linemen can move, too, now. That's an underrated thing. I think guys like you, they're close to these backs. I mean, they can run.
Oh, yeah. I take my pride on it. My O-line coach don't like when I say it, but I used to play tight end, so he hits me in the head every time I say it. But I kind of claimed tight end offensive tackle back in the day.
I'd love to see it. You'd be a tackle eligible play put in when you get into college.
I've asked all year, every single game, for me to touch the ball one time in high school.
I mean, I don't see. There's some of these linemen. I mean, y'all can move. I mean, I'll give you the ball because who's going to tackle you?
Yeah, it's just they worry about the risk of injury, but you know, also it's I don't know. We're just not meant to touch the ball. We're meant to create the lanes and be tired on the way down to celebrate.
If you had to say, in your opinion, obviously, what's your pro comparison? I know you're young, but who do you compare yourself most to?
I look up a lot to Taylor Lewan. I really love his play, and I just love the dog he's got on. To play offensive line, it don't matter what conference you're in, what classification you're in, what division you're in. You gotta have that dog in you. And I just love Taylor Lewan, the way he plays nasty and all that kind of stuff. But
to me, when you said big nasty lineman earlier, he's the first guy I think of.
I love Taylor Lewan. I hope he comes back healthy and has a good season.
He's one of those guys, like, you see these bigger guys, and he's one of those guys like you do not want to mess with. And even I've never seen him in person, but you watch him on TV, and you're like, that's the guy you don't want to make mad. That's
Absolutely.
the guy.
That's what you need in an O-line. You need that intimidation factor. You know, there's a great line I don't want to say on here, but you can look it up. It was a verse of the Seahawks. It was him and the other guard. He said something to the DN. I can't say on here, but you can go look at it. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
It's all about getting in the head. He gets into people's head.
Yeah. You got anything, Russ?
Well, we talked a lot about football, and you said you're a big hunter, though. So I wanted to ask, what was your favorite thing to hunt?
Oh Lord, man, duck hunting. I love me some duck hunting.
Yeah, I've never been before. I do a lot of dove hunting and stuff and deer hunting, but I've never been duck hunting before.
Yeah, we just recently bought some land in Burke County. And we've Jonathan Broxton is an ex MLB pitcher. He made it big, so he pretty wealthy man. So he bought our land from us, but left us a sliver. So we've been. I love deer hunting too. Turkey hunting's fun. Hell, I'll hunt about anything.
Yeah.
But the most fun I've ever had hunting is the one time I've been hog hunting at night with a thermal. That's the best.
That's fun.
That's a different animal. There's some guys up here that do a good bit of that. So you just strictly duck?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm borderline duck and deer. Deer hunting is very fun. It's very peaceful.
Yeah.
You just get to,
Relaxing.
deer hunt in the weekend, get out, go get some good country food, and go watch some football for the rest of the weekend. So,
What's your biggest deer?
biggest deer ever killed was, I think it was a 11 point when I was 9 years old.
Yeah, I've never killed anything bigger than an 8 point because I can't get them any bigger than that. They won't grow anymore.
Yeah, we had this one deer on our property. This is a great story. We've been hunting this deer for 3 years straight. If that's a deer that big, they're smart, so they know how not to get killed. So we called him Mufasa. That was his nickname, Mufasa. And for 3 years in a row, my brother's a huge hunter. So he would skip school. Once he got him on camera, he would go up there, sit in the stand all night or all morning. And we had one of our club members brought his daughter for the first time ever hunting. First time ever killing a deer or getting a deer stand. That old joker walks out right in front of that feeder. She lays him out. First deer she ever killed, one of the biggest deer ever, in my opinion, in Burke County. It's my brother threw up, sick to the stomach.
Oh my gosh! I've heard stories like that.
Yeah, but good for her. That's a great first experience for her. But me and my brother were both sick. But
Yeah. Well, Mason, we appreciate you coming on.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Mason. We really enjoyed having you. We just wish you the best in your recruiting process and the rest of your high school career.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you for having me on here.
Yes, sir. Well, that's going to be it for today's episode of Dog Football Weekly. We hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back. When do you think, Russ?
Next week.
Sometime next week. See you, Mason.
All right. Bye-bye.